Yay Networks.
Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Brit Mogensen, and today we are doing a deep dive into the birth charts of Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and Christina Aguilera. You guys have been asking, and I have heard you, and I've been dying to do this too. I've been reading her book, The Woman in Me. I'm not done yet, and I'm going to try to keep any spoilers to a minimum because I know we're all reading this still. But yeah, great book. Such an interesting read. I'm loving it. I'm reading it with my friend Jen. We are reporting back to each other about our thoughts. And I just could not help but wonder about the birth charts of everybody and how they, really intertwine. And I really think the main figures that, at least publicly, have, always had some sort of tie with Britney. First, Justin, and then in the book, no spoilers, but she spent a lot of time with Christina Aguilera. She doesn't necessarily talk about her too much, but I'm going to leave that for you guys to find out. But she did talk about it a little bit on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel asked Christina, are you worried about what Britney's going to write about you in this book? And she kind of, had a snarky answer, in my opinion. And she was just kind of like, oh, I'd rather her write something about you. I'd rather you be in the book. And kind of alluding to the fact that maybe she was concerned about what Britney would say. And then other people have said, this was just the industry. They never had any real beef. The industry was pitting them against each other, trying to, manipulate their images. And there was kind of a weird sense of competition, but not really. Anyway, there's all this info. But I feel like when you just pull up this industry chart, you can kind of get to the heart of things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Britney's birth chart and how it intertwines with Christina Aguilera's chart. We're going to start there, and then we will save Justin's for last because it's going to floor you. First, let's just kind of talk about their birth charts separately. And I've talked about this a little bit before with Britney, but she definitely, I think, is really stepping into her, North Node energy. Right now, she is, embracing her feminine energy. She is talking about things that she's hidden for such a long time. And that is her North Node in Cancer. She came into this world with that South Node energy of Capricorn, as we all do. We always kind of get here with this really great knowledge and just natural kind of affinity with our South Node. It's just kind of how we operate. So for her, Capricorn, it's no surprise that she found herself working from a young age, making money, supporting her family. Capricorn is the boss of the zodiac. They tend to take a lot on their shoulders. Wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, you'll notice that this is probably an area where you find yourself having to work a little bit harder. That's just kind of the energy. It's associated with Saturn, which is our discipline, the lessons we learn in life. So she kind of, in her childhood, and we know this from the book and from other things she's talked about, it wasn't an easy childhood. She was surrounded by Capricorn South Node themes. She was working hard. She was in a Saturn energy. It wasn't like she was having all this fun and, getting all these presents. It was more of that Saturnian energy of having to be disciplined and work really hard, not really getting to be a child. So that was the South Node, okay? And then throughout our lives, we build towards our North Node. So throughout her whole life, she's been reaching for this Cancer North Node, which is associated with motherhood, which is another reason why the revelations about she and Justin and how upset she was, it's heartbreaking. Because someone with a North Node in Cancer, they really do crave becoming a mother, nurturing others, being nurtured. It's a huge theme in their life. And we always get a challenge around our North Node. So it's no surprise, again, that she's had all these challenges to get there. But I do feel like even the title of the book, The Woman in Me, associated with feminine energy, that's basically this is like my Cancer North Node book. You might as well just write that on the cover. So I love to see that because that means she's on path, she's on purpose. However it looks to other people, she's definitely stepped into that energy. And I think telling the truth has been a really big part of that for her. So when we really kind of dive into her chart a little bit further, I was curious to see like what house is ruled by Scorpio, because in our, first part of diving into Scorpio season, we talked about how you got to look at that house and see like, how is it affecting you? And for Britney, the second house is highlighted during Scorpio season because she has a Scorpio ruled second house containing Jupiter. Okay. So overall, this Scorpio season, when the book was released, definitely tells us that she is not only activating her second house of like value, personal worth. The second house is like our values, our personal worth, what we earn, our income. So she's getting a boost in income. She's getting a boost in validation because, like when we don't have a way to support ourselves, we can sometimes feel, not as good about ourselves. We can feel kind of yucky, low self-worth, all of that. Well, when you get a boost in your second house, you're making money, you're feeling good. You're like, I'm self-sufficient. So that's really nice. We can see that the book is activating that energy for her. But then also having her Jupiter there, Jupiter is like where we have luck in our chart. So I just feel like this is the start, this book, this is the start of like a whole new lucky phase for her. So I'm glad, I'm happy to see that. I think she's been through a lot. But then if we look at other placements for her and we compare them to Christina's chart, we see that they both have a Sagittarius sun, which is interesting because people that you share the same sun sign with, and this makes it even worse when it comes to like comparison, because naturally you're going to gravitate towards people with the same sun sign. And there is a chance to, compare yourself because there's so much similarity. It's kind of hard not to. It's almost like, oh my gosh, you like this, I like this. You do this thing, so do I. People that have our same sun sign, they're kind of like in our tribe, So from the get-go, even when they were kids, there was probably this mutual understanding and probably at first really like a draw towards each other, a desire to be friends, like, oh my God, we're so alike. But then as we kind of go deeper, we see that Britney's moon is in Aquarius. That's her emotional self. And Christina's moon is in Taurus. Now, Taurus and Aquarius do not tend to, it's not even about getting along. It's really about like, they do not naturally tend to understand each other. It's like they speak very different languages. So when you have such a compatible sun and then a moon that's kind of in a difficult position, it can be difficult for the people with these placements to understand each other beyond surface level. So it's like you get to a certain point with someone else and you're just like, wow, they do not get me actually. Like I thought we got each other, but we really don't. So I can see that there were probably things that happened between the two of them, culminating with when they were finally like older and, always this kind of push-pull between them. There were all these rumors about them fighting and whatever. And even today, Christina acting a little bit shady and unsure of what Britney would say. It's like they don't really feel like they can trust each other. So Taurus moon, Christina, this is someone who actually is pretty grounded when it comes to their feelings. This is someone who is very emotional, but also very stubborn. Taurus is like, I know exactly what I need, what I want. It's also associated with like creature comforts. So for a Taurus moon, it's important for them to feel comfortable, to feel safe. Any sort of earth moon has to feel safe. That's like priority number one. And then with the Taurus energy, it's also about feeling abundant and like glamorous, because Taurus and Libra both are ruled by Venus and they love the glamour. They need like a luxurious environment. And we love that about them. But when you compare that energy, which that moon, that's really what Christina needs, which is why she has a reputation for having like huge houses that are like just lavishly decorated and all this. I've looked at some photos of her houses and it's definitely giving Taurus moon. Like I love having this beautiful security. Britney, her moon is in Aquarius, and that is an air sign. That is not, there's nothing earthy about it. Aquarius moons, they can detach, like, and they very much have to sometimes, because for these people, they tend to run into themes as well about, things like, so your moon is associated with your mother. Okay. We'll establish that one. I forgot to say that. And she and her mother have had obviously a very complicated relationship. So if you have this placement too, you may feel like there have been times in your life where you've like had to detach emotionally a little bit from your mom to feel, stable, to have a sense of self. And that can be for a million different reasons. But for Britney, whereas, she is detaching to feel safe, and that's what she needs. She needs freedom to feel safe. Christina needs closeness, loyalty, and understanding. So they just kind of go in two different directions completely. And then we do have both of their birth times, and they're like verified birth times, and we love that. So we can see what their rising signs are as well. And Britney has Libra rising, which makes her very beautiful, someone that the spotlight is naturally going to gravitate towards. And this can be a little bit challenging when you're in like an ensemble with a bunch of other people. And Christina's ascendant is actually Aquarius. So it's like you can see that there are a lot of opportunities for them to get along, but then a lot of opportunities for them to misunderstand each other. So this is like the kind of relationship where if these two were mature when they met, I could see them being great friends. But I think that with all the circumstances that just they were surrounded by from when they were in the Mickey Mouse Club and kind of thrown together and hearing all these things, and they're just like little kids, you can see how there could be some hurt there, like actual hurt, because there's compatibility, there's friendship, and then there's like almost a lack of being able to really count on each other. So yeah, there's a lot going on in their charts. And Christina's a Leo North node. So that means she was an Aquarius South node. So she came into this life actually wanting to be friends with everyone. People with a Leo North node, they crave the spotlight, but they also face challenges getting to the spotlight. And Christina Aguilera has talked about this. She, like in various documentaries, interviews, she's discussed how she's always had kind of a complicated relationship with fame. She definitely wanted to be a star. She loves singing. She's very talented. But in particular, Christina, I feel like did face a lot of people trying to like get her to fit a mold that she didn't fit in order to like achieve her goal of, being a famous singer. And I think that's why she settled on being like Xtina and being kind of the more wild, outlandish one during that pop princess era. And you can see that like that was probably really difficult for her. I mean, the Leo North node, it's like she definitely reached it by becoming such a huge superstar, but her journey was really about her relationship to fame and to being in the spotlight. And you can see how if there was someone else maybe getting the spotlight first with that Libra ascendant, that's another added layer. And no one's wrong or right in this, right? It's like they're both just kind of on their paths. It's like, I'm sure it wasn't easy being on these journeys. So then we did a little synastry. I put their charts overlaid and we can see what their soul purpose was. Now this is, it's Scorpio season, so we're just going to even tap in even deeper to the situation. And this is like past life contracts. This is themes that go even deeper than what we can see in just individual birth charts. So when we look at their synastry, we see that they actually do have a past life, two past life connections. And okay, when I do this, I really don't mind seeing past life connections that are South node, because you'll have either South node or North node past life connections. Or like the North node is more of like a contract or a promise to help each other. South node is like a past life unfinished business, karma basically. And both of their placements are in the South node karmic placements. So again, we can see it. But Christina's South node is conjunct Britney's moon. So this is a really emotional placement to have with someone. Now, if this was her North node, I would say, wow, she probably really was able to like support her in the way that she felt and what she needed. But because it's the South node, this indicates that, and we are definitely going to go there. Oh my God, guys, this is wild. This indicates that there was probably a past life where the two of them were close friends. Britney being the moon person, this indicates that she probably supported Christina in some way. And in this lifetime, she is wanting that support back from Christina. There's like this unfinished karmic business. And that can either happen through, supporting someone's moon sign, or sometimes if people don't show up, they can just help you to learn another lesson, which I don't think is ideal. But her south node is also conjunct that moon. The moon has to do with Cancer as well. So we can see that this was actually super significant for her. Now, Britney's south node is conjunct Christina's Mars. This is the placement of enemies. Okay. Like, I'm just going to give it to you guys straight. Oh my gosh. So I don't care what they say, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. According to their birth charts, there is emotional karmic debt, and then there is Mars energy on the south node. And this tells us that Britney kind of pisses Christina off because with her south node conjunct Christina's Mars energy is activated by Britney. And Mars can be very positive, like when it gives you drive, like we talked about in the last episode. When Mars is in Scorpio, like it is right now, it's like we have power to transform things. Mars just gives you like a shot of caffeine and a big boost in whatever area it's in. But when it's on someone's south node in a chart like this, it indicates the opposite. It's like the warrior part of that energy. It's not like we're positively doing things together. It's like we're enemies. So this could have been a past life enemy that's carrying over into this lifetime, but it's definitely a sign that there is actual anger here. Like they really do trigger each other. And with Britney, it's like she's triggered by Christina emotionally, because the moon is all about like our feelings. So she's triggered emotionally, and then Christina's triggered not really emotionally, more like just with anger, like her ego. And on the bright side, it might have pushed Christina to achieve more. Sometimes when people make us mad, we're like, I'll show you. But that would be probably the most positive benefit, for trying to find a silver lining. Okay. Other things that we can see from this, we can see the gifts that people bring to each other when we do a synastry chart. A past life synastry chart. For Christina, she brings gifts into Britney's 11th house. This just kills me because the 11th house is friendship and like social situations. So this indicates that there is potential for Christina to be a good friend to Britney. Again, then we see that south node moon. It's almost like she was supposed to be Britney's friend in this lifetime. But I don't think that happened, at least not past childhood. But we're still reading the book. We'll see. Yeah, so definitely there's an energy of activating Britney's 11th house. Should be a friendship. We don't necessarily see that happened. Then Britney brings gifts to Christina in her 5th house. The 5th house is like creativity. So between having the Mars South Node connection and the 5th house gifts, I would say, and this might sound outlandish, but I would say that even more than she'll ever probably admit, I think that Britney was the inspiration for a lot of the creativity and drive that Christina Aguilera experienced during her rise to fame. So, hey. And with Christina being a Leo North Node, she needed that. She needed a push. She needed creativity. The 5th house, oh my God, wait. Guys, the 5th house is also associated with Leo. Britney really, whether Christina liked it or not, Britney really pushed her towards her destiny. And again, it could just be through being like, I want to be like her. I want to be better than her. Could have been through competition with that Mars energy. Okay. And then lastly, we have their composite North Node. Now, your composite North Node is like what you could potentially accomplish together in this lifetime. Now, their composite North Node is in Leo in the 8th house. And this kind of kills me because this would be so ideal if this could happen. Leo is all about fame, right? The spotlight. It would definitely be great for Christina because there's this potential to even boost her North Node destiny more through this connection. And the 8th house is like deep transformation and bonding. So ideally, like the best thing that could happen for these two would be that they would reunite, do an album together, do a song together. Eighth house is like contracts. It's everything like deep. It's everything committed and serious. So through a very serious, committed partnership, collaboration, they could transform their relationship with each other and achieve even higher levels of that Leo fame energy. So if they ever collaborated from a genuine place, it would be electric, as they say these days. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Wow. That gives me goosebumps. Okay, when we come back, we're going to look at Britney and Justin's charts. When it comes to Britney and Justin's charts, now this obviously goes a lot deeper. After looking at their charts, like I want to say it could be giving twin flame energy. And I don't think you always end up with your twin flame. So let's talk about their charts. Okay, so Justin has an Aquarius sun and a Sagittarius moon. Britney has a Sagittarius sun and Aquarius moon. This is so crazy because if you have with anyone, if you have the same sun sign as their moon sign, just one of these, okay, one of these placements, they have both. They're like both giving each other this same energy in equal measure. But let's say that it was only one of those. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift actually have this. Her sun is in Sagittarius, his moon is in Sagittarius. And having that connection is an indicator of a potential soulmate relationship if you get into a deep connection with that person. It can also be a marriage indicator. My husband and I have that. My sun is Virgo, his moon is Virgo. So it's kind of a fun little exercise. Look back. If there's anyone you've dated in the past or anyone you're dating now, you may find that you have this connection. And it definitely adds to like the seriousness of the relationship. Because for the person, let's use the Taylor example again. For Taylor, her sun being in Sagittarius and his moon being in Sagittarius, because she's the sun sign person in the equation, her ability to shine is boosted by this relationship. Because Travis is the one with the moon in Sagittarius with this connection, his ability to feel and emotionally connect and feel supported and loved, like his heart opens because of this connection. She feels like she can shine and be herself and really finally like be in a relationship where she's seen, and then he feels like he can really like, open his heart. Okay. Now with Justin and Britney, they have both. I have never seen this. I've done a lot of readings. I've never seen this once. And I've done readings on other people like Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. They have a chart that looks like it could be twin flame energy, but it's not this. So, okay. So we're all shocked here. This is wild. So they have that. I will never get over it. And then if we look at their ascendants, so he actually has his ascendant in Leo. So Justin being a Leo rising, I want to say that, wait, hold on. And his North Node in Leo. Yeah, okay. I want to say that's kind of where a lot of the disconnect could have occurred. Because if we look at their Venus even, they both have Venus in Capricorn. I mean, the charts are like, if I had to choose two people that I would put together, didn't know them just based on these charts, like on paper, I would be like, oh, these two definitely getting married, like together forever, happy for the rest of their lives, because there's so much compatibility. But being so young when they first met, and then also being surrounded by fame and all of this stuff that was going on for both of them, if I try to find where the problem could have started to, occur, things could have started to break down, I gotta say, I'm going to blame Justin here. I think it was his Leo North Node and Leo rising. Because for him, similar to Christina, and what's interesting is Christina and Justin, after Justin and Britney broke up, and this is just a little tiny spoiler, Britney did talk about how it really bothered her that after she and Justin broke up, that there was like a magazine cover that Justin and Christina were on, and they were like announcing that they were about to go on tour together. And she just felt really hurt by that. Like, wow, of all people, these two people that like, I know we just broke up and there's Christina. Like it was really weird. And she said it was hurtful. So I could totally see why that would happen though, because Justin and Christina both have a Leo North node, meaning their main purpose, again, what they're striving for, what they're prioritizing in this life is fame. And that's not necessarily like a bad thing. It might sound bad because of the way I'm kind of painting them. But if you have this placement, just know that's kind of what this life is about for you. We all get to experience like all different kinds of things, right? And so this is just your turn to try that experience on. It's your turn to feel what it feels like to be in the spotlight, and then maybe another time you'll be a Capricorn or, so it's not bad, but it can be bad and cause issues when you're linked up with someone who just has such a different life purpose than you have. So the Leo North node, just like what I said for Christina, very similar, came in, wanted to be friends with everyone. And then I think when Justin was surrounded by so many people also wanting him to be famous, also wanting him to be successful, I think he naturally put that first. That was just kind of, it can cause problems for you when you go after your North node, but it's also something that you kind of can't resist. Not an excuse, but just saying I see how it's playing out. And then his ascendant also in Leo, meaning that he truly does think like a Leo. And those people, they can come off cold at times, especially if they are like being single-minded in pursuit of a goal. It was like he had every opportunity in front of him and he definitely was going to take advantage of it. And then for her with the ascendant in Libra, like all she really wanted was a partner. And then North Node in Cancer, like to be loved. Like it is so sad. Like it's killing me. So we can see how she did experience a lot of like rejection and things. And that was a part of her process. So if we look at Britney and Justin's charts, when it comes to their synastry and like what they bring to each other's lives, we see that they also have South Node conjunctions. They don't have North Node conjunctions either. And I'm really shocked because I was thinking that maybe she would have a North Node conjunction with at least one of them. Because that North Node, like if you have a North Node conjunction with somebody, it's like very positive. It just means that you're in each other's lives to bring you forward, to like push you towards your goals, towards your higher self, your destiny. And if it's a South Node connection, it's always going to be like karmic or something unfinished. But it's usually a little more difficult and it doesn't really feel as good. It can kind of hold you back at times. And so with him, similar thing. You really can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. Justin's South Node is conjunct Britney's moon, the same exact placement as Christina. And then Britney's South Node is conjunct Justin's Venus. Okay. Now this is an indication of a past life love. Okay, go with me here. So when you have a South Node conjunct Venus, this can mean that in a past life, two people, maybe they like lived in a time when the life expectancy was really short. Maybe they were going to get married and then they never got to experience what it would be like to actually be able to follow through, get married, have a family, all of that. So there's this like promise that's made to reunite in a later lifetime. It's very romantic. So when these two people meet, it feels like it was meant to be. It's like butterflies and you're just like, oh my gosh, I found my soulmate. And just because someone's a past life, soulmate doesn't mean that it's going to pan out the way that you would imagine in this lifetime, because sometimes those relationships can be more about fantasy than reality. So both of them, I would say, projected onto the other this like perfect fairy tale that probably when they got to know each other better and started to live life, both of them realized that it wasn't real. And it probably broke both their hearts. But definitely you can see that with this past life connection, Venus South Node, you know that it was an instant like deep love. Okay, so then if we look at the gifts that they bring to each other, they both bring gifts in each other's 11th houses. Again, that's friendship. So you can see that, and then with all their birth chart placements that are so similar, you can see that these two people would have such a deep connection that they probably, and this allegedly, this might not be popular, but I could imagine that they would have an almost psychic connection and then probably still think of each other from time to time now in a positive way, even if they'll never like admit it. because this is like being mirrors of each other. Wait, didn't Justin have a song? It's like, you're my mirror. Okay. That was probably about Britney. I don't know if it was or not, but like, if you listen to that song, that's exactly what it would feel like to be in a relationship with someone whose placements so perfectly mirror your placements. And, you know, that's like a high, but it's also a very low. So the friendship, the understanding, the mental connection, the physical, like all of it was there. Okay. Then if you look at their composite energy, also in Leo, in the 11th house. So again, similar to Christina, the only difference is for Christina, it was in the 8th house. So that means for them, like they could potentially, I don't know, do like a song together and it would be a huge hit. For Justin and Britney, I think the best that they could hope for with the 11th house Leo North Node would be that they would publicly, Leo energy, like apologize to each other or have a friendship, you know, not like a close friendship, but, you know, just like positively say nice things about each other. 11th house is like society and, you know, putting it out there maybe on social media, things like that. Overall, they're meant to, like the highest vibration would be for them to show others that like you can come through things and be forgiving and like positive towards one another. But it definitely, yeah, it was just like kind of an example of a twin flame connection that teaches two people a lot of life lessons. I mean, wow. So that, I'm kind of shaken by that. Still taking it all in. I will never get over all of these connections. But yeah, something to think about. They say that like, what's your Roman Empire? Mine is now this, like this situation, these three people and their birth charts. But okay, something to think about this Scorpio season. We will dive even deeper, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm kind of shaken, but I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, for taking this little journey. And I will see you guys next week for an all new episode.
Yay Networks.